They were an ancient race, a civilization whose dominance stretched across the galaxy. Renowned for their cunning and ferocity, the hunters were feared not because they sought conquest, but because they sought sport. For centuries, they thrived on hunting, believing that only by conquering the strongest beings in the galaxy could they truly prove their superiority. Their society was built around this principle. The weak were disregarded, and only the most formidable prey were valued as worthy challenges. The hunters' sophisticated technology was unparalleled, designed to track, adapt, and terminate without fail. Their abilities to read a planet's biosignatures and outmaneuver their prey cemented their status as the deadliest predators in known space. In their exploration of new territories, the hunters' long-range scanners detected a previously unknown planet, Earth. They found the life forms on this blue and green sphere almost amusingly unremarkable. Through initial surveillance, they studied the humans, a bipedal, hairless species that showed no signs of having natural weaponry or physical prowess. These beings were soft-skinned, devoid of natural armor, lacking claws or sharp teeth, attributes common in the hunter's prime conquests. The initial assessment made it clear, these creatures posed little to no threat. Compared to the predators they had faced on other worlds, humans were laughably ordinary. The hunters were more puzzled by human behavior than impressed by any form of resistance. A primitive species, living in organized but predictable clusters, preoccupied with what seemed like mundane tasks. Their arrogance was reinforced. They had long ceased fearing weaker prey, and humans did not appear to be an exception. An easy hunt. One that would earn little glory but be an entertaining exercise to demonstrate the hunter's dominance. Excitement built among the hunters at the prospect of this new game. An expedition was quickly approved, targeting the heart of human civilization. The hunters' ships, sleek and silent, set course for Earth, cloaked to evade detection. As always, their goal was efficiency and precision, a quick strike to gather trophies and reinforce their superiority. They carried tools designed to track and subdue. Their arsenal included stun weapons calibrated for larger beasts and containment fields capable of restraining more powerful adversaries. They were confident. This hunt, marked as low risk, was intended to be a test for the younger, less experienced hunters, an opportunity to gain prestige without real danger. The leaders saw this as a chance to train and build camaraderie among the younger members. Upon landing, they began their hunt in remote areas, targeting isolated human groups. They saw their initial targets as the simplest test subjects: lone travelers, small groups of hikers, and soldiers on routine patrols. Their cloaking technology kept them hidden, and their tracking skills allowed them to approach their prey without detection. One by one, they picked off unsuspecting humans, studying their reactions with detached curiosity. The humans showed panic and confusion, confirming the hunters' assumptions. They were slower to react than other prey species and lacked the predatory instincts the hunters expected from intelligent life. As each human was captured with little resistance, the hunters became more confident in their superiority. The humans' lack of natural defenses seemed to affirm everything they believed. The hunters began to capture humans with ease, collecting specimens for study and entertainment. They recorded their findings with a sense of detached amusement, watching as their captives struggled in vain. To the hunters, this was routine. They had faced species with the strength of titans and the speed of beasts, yet these humans barely seemed aware of the danger they were in. The hunters' triumph seemed inevitable. They saw this planet, and its people, as theirs for the taking. The hunters expected their hunt to be a quick and decisive conquest. But as their operation continued, they encountered resistance, unexpected and intense. What had begun as a casual sport now met calculated, well-timed human counterattacks. Isolated humans began to show unanticipated skill with weapons, employing tactics that caught the hunters off guard. Rather than fleeing or cowering as predicted, humans retaliated. Ambushes awaited the hunters in places that had seemed secure. Hidden traps sprang with lethal precision. Despite their advanced sensors and combat training, the hunters began to suffer losses in situations they couldn't anticipate. A routine sweep in a forested area resulted in 2 of their kind being taken down by improvised explosives. They were unprepared for human tactics, strategies that seemed almost predatory. The hunters' confusion deepened as they watched humans coordinate their attacks. Studying recorded encounters, they saw patterns emerging. Humans were deliberately targeting their vulnerable points and using the terrain to their advantage. Their surprise turned into grudging respect as they recognized the strategic intelligence driving the resistance. To better understand their opponents, the hunters turned to their extensive records of past conquests. They compared these humans to species they had defeated across countless worlds, large, territorial beasts with brute strength, or those who used sheer numbers to swarm their enemies. But humans were different. They didn't just react, they planned and adapted. Their resilience was unsettling. The hunters began to appreciate human territoriality in a way they hadn't before. Each human strike seemed to be in defense of others, revealing a strong sense of cooperation. The hunters discussed how humans organized and communicated even under stress, rapidly changing their tactics to capitalize on the hunters' mistakes. This adaptability made humans unpredictable, something no other prey had ever shown. A sense of rising concern spread among the hunters as they realized their traditional methods were no longer enough. They underestimated how humans used knowledge, tools, and the environment to exploit every weakness they could find. The hunters, used to dominating through sheer force and superior technology, were now at a disadvantage. As the hunters' casualties mounted, the humans began actively seeking them out. It was no longer a matter of resisting, the tables had turned. The hunters found themselves pursued, their routines disrupted by relentless human attacks. These weren't desperate, flailing attempts at survival. Humans were now methodically hunting the hunters. Skilled teams of soldiers employed complex military tactics, while smaller groups executed precision strikes that blindsided the alien intruders. Even individual humans displayed an eerie cunning in combat. One such incident occurred when an elite hunter was lured into a narrow ravine by a single human, only to be trapped and overwhelmed by a hidden group lying in wait. The realization was undeniable. Humans weren't reacting out of fear. They were behaving like predators, calculating and ruthless. The hunters, who had prided themselves on being the galaxy's apex predators, faced a truth they had never anticipated. Their plans were crumbling, and their confidence eroded. Panic began to spread among them, exacerbated by their growing casualties. They had entered this hunt with certainty of their superiority, but that belief now seemed like a fatal flaw. Their leaders argued and second-guessed each decision, struggling to understand how these fragile creatures had turned the situation against them so completely. For the first time in their history, the hunters felt a gnawing fear, one that only true prey could feel. The leader of the hunters, once confident in their supremacy, now faced an undeniable truth: they had gravely underestimated the humans. Every piece of intelligence and every past triumph led them to believe this hunt would be routine. But now, the leaders saw the operation for what it had become: a desperate struggle to survive. He issued orders to regroup, attempting to organize a retreat. This wasn't about pride anymore. It was about survival. They needed to escape and warn others. Urgent communications were sent to their mothership, with coded distress signals relaying a simple message: humans were not what they seemed. Plans were made to extract as many hunters as possible, relying on cloaked evacuation routes and fallback positions. Yet, even as they moved, there was a sense of futility. Each strategic point was being overrun. The realization set in that this was not a retreat, it was an escape from a nightmare of their own making. In their final attempt to flee, the hunters made a last, desperate push towards their landing ships. But the humans were ready. Coordinated attacks struck at crucial moments, severing escape routes and isolating pockets of hunters. The humans, now fully aware of the hunters' weaknesses, exploited them with ruthless efficiency. They targeted the hunters' communication links, disrupting their ability to coordinate. What was once a calculated hunt turned into chaos for the hunters as their technology failed, and their lines of retreat were cut off. The battle that followed was fierce and relentless. Human forces, now operating as a unified and adaptive front, surrounded the remaining hunters. The hunters, once confident in their superior firepower and tactics, found themselves overwhelmed by relentless human resilience. Every attempt to break through was met with well-placed ambushes and overwhelming firepower. The final moments of the battle were a blur of desperation and failure for the hunters, as humans pursued them with a determination that defied any predator-prey relationship. Amid the aftermath of the battle, the few surviving hunters finally grasped the full extent of their mistake. Humans weren't just another species in a vast catalog of conquered prey. They were something altogether different, adaptive, strategic, and unyielding. They realized that humans had been actively learning and evolving throughout the conflict, not merely responding but anticipating. This adaptability was their strength. It wasn't just that humans fought back. They changed the rules of engagement, turning every perceived weakness into an advantage. The hunter's leader reflected on their long-held belief in their own invincibility, and saw now how it had blinded them to the truth. In thinking humans were fragile and inferior, they had overlooked the most crucial factor: the human capacity for growth and innovation under pressure. They had faced stronger foes, but none as persistent and cunning as these humans. The irony was clear: these supposed prey had become the hunters in a game the invaders thought they controlled. As the last of the hunters fled into the night, defeated and humbled, they sent a final transmission to their kind. The message was clear and urgent: do not return to Earth. The humans were not what they seemed. They were not prey, but something far more dangerous. As their remaining ships left Earth's atmosphere, the hunters looked down at the blue planet, no longer seeing it as a hunting ground but as the domain of a new and formidable adversary. The final line of the message echoed: Asterisk. Humans weren't prey, they were the hunters all along. Asterisk. A lingering shot of Earth from space reinforced the gravity of their revelation. Humanity, underestimated and overlooked, stood as the true masters of their world, an apex predator among stars.